The Mint 400 is an off-road race. It's the most gnarly race in America. It's 400 miles of pure carnage in the desert of Nevada. It's a really exciting race because a lot of people get really pumped up about it. It's spectator friendly, so people can see a lot of it happening, which is really cool, but it's definitely a popular race. I mean, when they close down Las Vegas Boulevard for us to drive our trucks down there, you know it's a big deal if Vegas is shutting off Las Vegas Boulevard for us. It's like the Super Bowl of off-road racing for the US. I mean, you have like the Baja 1000, the Baja 500, but this race, teams are coming from all over the country.
Going down the Mint, this will be my 4th year going down to the Mint. First time we went down, we got a call and said, hey, we just need some help with mechanics. We went down. Ever since then, we've been racing down in the desert, doing Best in Desert Racers and a little bit of score down in Mexico. It's been pretty good. The Mint's probably one of the best events to go to. It's pretty close for us, probably the closest race that we'll ever go to. The Mint's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to go down and continue to see, and there's a lot of people that show up.
This is the second year that the Lns Not Sheep has raced in it. We had some stuff on our truck that apparently we shouldn't have had that we didn't know, and so we actually got disqualified from the race, but we still took 2nd place. So this was our first year with the proper truck, with the proper stuff, but this was our 2nd year racing it, and we were super pumped to show up and put a good truck out there.
My people, it's time to move out. Move out. My people, it's time to move out. Show 'em what we do now. They say that work seems so hard to follow. I am not a role model, only a teacher. Teach 'em when the school's out. Preacher man preaching to each his own. Mano we mano. Fly away, fly away. Fly away with me. It's time to fly away. Fly away. His blood set me free. It's time to fly away. Yes, we fly away. Fly away. Fly away with me. It's time to fly away. Fly away. His blood set me free. It's time to fly away. Fly away. Fly away with me. It's time to fly away. Fly away. His blood set me free. It's time to fly away.
The day of the race started pretty early. We got up about 4 o'clock in the morning. Our race staging started about 5:30. Had a couple little things to go finish up, button up before we got those guys got in the truck. So just woke up early, got everything ready.
This race was a little different for us because I wasn't starting. This was the first race that I didn't start the race in the truck. One of my team manager, Dave, had spent so much time into the truck, and I wanted him to get some seat time, so he was gonna basically take the first lap, and then Will and I would take the 2nd lap. Normally with our class we race really early in the morning, and this was the first time that I didn't have to be up at 4 a.m. for a 5 a.m. staging time. I still got up because I'm like amped. It's race day, that's just how I am. I got up and went to the pits, and the truck was muddy. Everybody was in good spirits, like we were ready to rock and roll and had everything dialed in and stuff. So there's the nerves and the anticipation.
seeing bombing when I was coming down to 15, I could see trucks bombing all the dust.
Oh yeah, it goes both ways. Like the course goes way out here. So it goes up through the mountains and then comes back around.
Well, so pretty much after the race starts, you sit and wait a couple hours, 2 or 3 hours, wait for the trucks to come back through. Just keeping an eye on them through the tracker and get a little bit more excited the closer they get, the closer they get. You know, your whole weekend's built up for being in the pit crew. Their trucks are usually there for less than a couple minutes. So you got this whole weekend, months and months of prep build up for a couple minutes of excitement as they come into the pits. So you get worked up and they come in and then they take off and you get a rest for a couple more hours so they come back through.
I just want to feel at 80. That's where I'll have to go.
The very first race that I raced with him, I'll never forget. We had him come in the race about halfway through, so he didn't start with me. It was the very first race I ever raced. It was like 3 weeks after I bought my truck. I'd never had an off-road race before, and all the guys on the team were like, look, man, maybe you should get a couple races under your belt before you put Will in the truck. I'm like, listen, Will's getting in the truck with me, so you can either help me do it so that this is the safest possible experience for all of us, or I'm just gonna put him in the freaking truck and we're gonna make this thing work. So I ended up putting him in the truck about halfway through the race, and I'll never forget as long as I live, you know, to pull into that pit and to see him there and then have him get in, and we plugged in his comms. I'm like, hey man, can you hear me? And you hear your son's little 11-year-old voice like, yeah, Dad, I'm here. You know, it was just like, I was bawling, man. You know, he's calling out every mile marker. Truck 7111, mile 87. Truck 7111, you know, mile 88. And hearing him say that and calling out the turns, it was one of the cooler experiences that I can remember as a father, as a dad, knowing that he's there, knowing that I can tell him about how cool off-road racing is, how we've watched all the videos and seen all of the cool shit, and here we were doing it. It was one of the coolest experiences. I'll never forget it. I'll literally never forget pulling into that pit and seeing the little silhouette of this little kid next to all these adults and having, you know, him on a booster foam to get him so that he could see out, and you know, that 2 hours in the truck with him was something that I'll never forget.
What'd you guys stop at 14 for, race mile 14 for? Oh, okay. All right, we'll find out where they're towing you to. Call me and let me know where they're taking you and we'll come get you.
Hey, is that it? What do you say is wrong with it?
Not good. They said they lost you. The call from Dave wasn't good when you're sitting there waiting for the truck to come in. They're about 89, 86, 80 miles out. You get a phone call from people that are inside the truck. It's never a good thing.
I finally called Tyler and told him, hey, motor's gone. We're on the lake bed if you could relay it to us. Tyler reiterated, the motor's gone, the motor's done. And that's when it sunk in even deeper. There is no finish in this.
We got the call from Dave, said they lost the engine. You know, Sean was sitting right next to me. Not a good feeling having to tell Sean that he's not going to be able to race in the Mint. Everything that he's spent, the time that he's prepped the truck and all that stuff, it's pretty upsetting. You lose stuff in the races, you lose engines, you lose transmissions, catastrophic failures. So it's not the first time, probably won't be the last time, but stuff like that does happen and it's not very much fun. So
we were geared up, ready to go. We were in the pits. You know, Will and I were getting ready to put our helmets on, and they were only, you know, 20, 25 minutes out. This isn't spread out like we're going to be right in the middle of you know, the war. And I remember one of our pit guys, his cell phone rang, and it was Dave who was driving. And I remember hearing him say, like, okay, so it's dead. Is it dead? He's like, yeah, we're done. And I overheard that, and I'm just like, no, dude. I was really bummed. But I was more bummed that Will didn't get a chance to drive on his birthday. And so I was like, man, I'm sorry, Will, I'm sorry. I felt really bad, and I kept apologizing to him. And I'm like, dude, I feel so bad. And he's like, Dad, it's cool, it's racing. I was like, I'm sorry. I kept apologizing to him. And finally he's like, Dad, I feel bad that you think that I feel this bad. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, like, he's like, it's racing, I get it, you know? And he legitimately at 12 wasn't like morbid about it. I was more bummed out than he was. But it was the funniest thing when he's like, Dad, I'm bummed out that you think I'm this bummed out. And so it was kind of, it was cool that he said that. I'm glad that he wasn't as bummed.
We're gonna yank this motor out as quick as we can. Hopefully, be able to rebuild it, but if not, then luckily it's a 4.0, so we could find several crate motors to put in. Get it going, we'll be ready for the Baja 500. Be ready to go down there and have some fun and eat some tacos.
It was a good day. Everybody was in one piece. The truck came home in one piece minus the blown up engine, you know, so we fixed the engine and put the truck back together and lived to fight another day.